Welcome back to Celebreal, the place where Hollywood's secrets don't stay buried and the stories they wish would disappear somehow end up right here on your screen. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button because today's investigation gets dark, gets messy, and might just connect more dots than anyone expected. Now let's get into it. When Diddy's arrest hit headlines last September, Katt Williams saw an opening, and he did not waste it. He jumped straight onto Instagram stories, reshared an AI mashup of Puffy's mugshot blended with Wesley Snipes from New Jack City, and captioned it, "Diddy about to snitch on everybody."
Club Shay Shay, yeah. I was trying to do something there that hadn't been done. I thought that I had figured out the algorithm mathematically, and I thought that I could show that. And when I wrote it out to kill the careers of the people I was talking about, right? But it was so vicious that I erased all of the knockout blows and just left the jabs so that the comic I'm talking about knows that I know your real story, motherfucker. I'm gonna tell this, but you know what else I know. So, yeah, I was...
Do you want to tell any of those stories now?
Well, I'm saying...
The joke exploded online. Comments flooded in. Memes went viral. And the internet did what it always does. It ran with the idea. Because if anyone in the industry was going to flip to save himself, most people assumed, yeah, it would be Diddy. But here's where the story gets interesting. Katt didn't stop at one punchline. He didn't move on to another random joke. No, Katt has been doing this for years.
I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times just to protect...
Go back and listen to his older interviews and podcast appearances. He casually dropped names that seemed random at the time. Tyler Perry, Ricky Smiley, Steve Harvey, Ludacris. People thought he was just messy or bitter. But then something shocking happened. Some of the exact same types of names Katt has been calling out for years.
So Katt Williams said it. The lawsuit started coming out right after he said it, and he said all would be exposed. He heavily implied, and this is again an allegation, that Lucien Grange was having some sort of a homosexual relationship with Diddy. So he is the person that controls Diddy, that Lucien Grange was aware of these parties, that Universal Music Group was aware of these parties, essentially that Diddy is the thug and the gangster working on behalf of Lucien Grange. They did not know that he was recording them. I mean, when I read through that lawsuit, Rodney made it very clear that he had hidden cameras. And if you are a person like LeBron who says ain't no party like a Diddy party, you got Ashton Kutcher talking about what happens at Diddy parties stays at Diddy parties. And finally you learn via the press that actually Diddy has been collecting evidence on all of you and you don't know where those tapes are. That will buy your silence for quite some time because you're hoping that if you keep your head low, you're not going to be revealed as one of these people that was engaged in some of these acts, whether they were heterosexual or homosexual, it doesn't matter. Maybe you're just cheating on your wife and you don't want that to get out into the public. Maybe you were, as Katt Williams described it, in one of the rooms. He said you could just walk around the house. He said this on stage years ago, that you could walk around the house and you would see people engaged in various sex acts. And again, Katt Williams was someone who was dismissed as crazy and dismissed as a drug addict. And it turned out that, or it seems that if these allegations are proven to be true, and I believe they are, then he was telling the truth.
Jay-Z, Aaron Hall, Harv, Pierre, more are now appearing in actual witness statements and federal court documents tied to Diddy's case. Meaning, Katt wasn't just talking, he wasn't just clowning, he was planting clues in plain sight. And today, we're connecting the dots between what sounded like stand-up comedy.
Do you think that like stars and get offered that kind of thing, like to compromise themselves sexually for entertainment?
I was as shocked as anybody about how powerful Harvey Weinstein was at the time that I was meeting with him and how he could not be told no. You follow what I'm saying?
They'll figure out some way.
Right, so I thought that didn't apply to me because I don't care about nothing but bitches and good business, right? In these scary situations, I don't even leave it up to me. Like, I'm gonna do what the superhero would do in this part of the movie, regardless.
That's a good way to think about things in general.
Yeah.
What would the superhero do?
And what now looks like a federal scandal unfolding in real time. Katt started with Tyler Perry. On the surface, it looked like another classic comedic jab. When Katt joked that Perry can't play a man to save his life, fans laughed and moved on. But behind the laugh was a hidden truth. Few people realize this, but when Tyler Perry was grinding out his first indie scripts, before the studios, before the billion-dollar empire,
I heard that you bought a military base in Alabama. Is that true? A military base?
As starving comedians would do.
Now, I don't know if you're being truthful or not. Did you really buy one?
Yeah, Fort McClellan. Yeah,
What?
because the reason why like my life works in golf and off the golf course is because I follow instruction well, right? So if I see somebody do a good job, I just want to do a good job.
Yeah.
I'm gonna follow the example.
Yeah.
Right? So Tyler Perry got a military base.
That's correct.
Made it into a movie studio and started making movies. Katt Williams.
Bought a military base. Are you making movies?
I'm not wearing dresses. Yeah, making movies.
it was Diddy's team quietly pulling strings behind the scenes. They helped fund those debut films, arranged early premieres in LA and New York, and pushed out VIP invitations to stars hungry for the next big thing. You won't see that in tabloids, but it's there in the fine print of Diary of a Mad Black Woman and Medea's Family Reunion. Perry may never admit it publicly, but his launchpad ran straight through Bad Boy's playbook. And he wasn't the only one. Next up, Ricky Smiley.
Point. At what point in Tyler Perry's career was he Samuel L. Jackson or Denzel Washington? Which are the only two black men I can think of that never had a dress on.
Yeah, but I don't think it's about
At what point? It is about that. It is about that because he's the only black man that we already established has $1 billion for making movies. He's the only black man with his own studio. But he's also putting out material where he got a goddamn dress on every year.
because
Every time you turn around, at every iteration of his success, be it the plays that took over and got him popular, be it the shit that he did on TBS, be it the first movies that he did, be it the movies that he does now. So what is his excuse for doing Madea content now?
because there's an audience for it.
There's an audience for it.
There is an
There's an audience for it.
There is
because
People think he just stumbled into comedy fame, but insiders know the truth. Ricky learned the ins and outs of the industry at Diddy's private Atlanta parties. Not public events, not open-door mixers. These were invite-only nights where Puff's crew controlled the list, the room, the energy, everything. Ricky got on that list. From there, he networked his way into radio, television, and national fame. So when Katt joked that Ricky only shines in a dress, it wasn't just a cheap shot. It was a jab at how Ricky rose through an industry pipeline controlled by Bad Boy, long before he ever picked up a mic. And oh no, Steve Harvey and Cedric the Entertainer aren't immune either.
Tyler Perry told his male actors they're not allowed to consort with me because I saw you at a Diddy party, Tyler. And you were having a glorious time. I spent a lot of time in Miami and I snuck around Star Island quite a bit. I know Christian isn't lying, but I need him to tell me what happened to my friends. And I don't care how long it's been since I talked to them. They will always be my friends. Always. Tim and Durrett and Lamont Rucker were not the same after they went on camera with Tyler Perry. Christian, I think you can tell me why.
Katt accuses Steve Harvey of stealing one of his old TV ideas and claims Cedric lifted one of his best jokes nearly 20 years ago. Those jabs make for viral headlines, sure, But the real message wasn't about comedy beef. Katt was pointing straight at their connection to Diddy. Both Steve and Cedric have stood on stages funded by Bad Boy. They've hosted charity galas, fundraising dinners, and black tie events where millions were raised for education, youth programs, and community outreach. And every single time, they thanked Diddy on stage, smiling wide under the lights. To everyone watching, it looked like feel-good philanthropy. Those polished smiles. It was alliances being solidified, partnerships strengthened, and a network of influence quietly stitched together. One handshake, one toast, one sponsorship at a time. And the deeper you look, the more you see that this network doesn't stop at Hollywood or hip-hop. It even stretches into the church. T.D. Jakes once preached at a gospel concert sponsored by Diddy's team.
But when you reported a long time ago that Jamie, that he mysteriously got sick, mysterious, and we said that allegedly was Diddy. But how do you But when you reported that back then months ago, did you say what was that in your reporting? Yeah, they were saying that Diddy, because Diddy and Jamie Foxx were good friends, and they broke up. I mean, they stopped being friends, and they just. No, Gary, not good, no. What they said. Who was they? They that wait. They that wait on the Lord. All right, y'all, we gonna wrap up.
But look closely at the footage. Those church crowds sat in platinum VIP seats with velvet ropes, press walls, and camera crews. It looked less like Sunday service and more like a Bad Boy launch party dressed up in gospel clothing. Behind the hymns and sermons were music execs, influencers, and hand-picked insiders, all curated by Bad Boy's PR squad. So when Katt casually drops Bishop Jakes' name as one of the big deviant players connected to Puffy's circle, it sounds wild at first, but it suddenly makes sense.
Googled you to see what are the questions that people are wanting to know. Is Ricky Smiley married?
No.
Have you ever been married?
I was married.
Oh, you were?
I was married for 12 years.
When?
Man, I was married back
Did I know you?
Back in the 90s. I think we probably had met and had been around each other, but my ex-wife, we are still close. She's a flight attendant for Delta.
Oh, okay.
And we was married, we was young, and I was married for 12 years.
Wow.
I had a beautiful, she's beautiful.
And y'all broke up after 12 years because...
Comic View, I started doing Comic View and them streets started hitting.
Oh, no!
Because Katt wasn't exposing random people. He was exposing the architecture of Diddy's influence, a web connecting entertainment, business, philanthropy, and even faith, all under one dark, twisted umbrella. Kevin Hart gets his turn too, as the so-called industry plant.
Well, let's do it then.
They gonna do? Put kids in jail for hitting a super soaker? What the they gonna do?
That'd be horrible.
Y'all be some pissy motherfuckers. Go that if you want to. Fuck the picnic.
All right, Jack, one got to go in all their works.
Let me see that again.
So we have a Jimmy.
Leon Cohen.
Oh shit! I gotta say who they are.
Abner Bromowitz.
Jimmy Iovine.
Leon Cohen.
Clive Davis. Barry Gordy.
Leon Cohen.
Now this is all his work. YouTube music.
Fuck that Jew bitch.
So all his. You say he Jay-Z. All that is. Damn. Leo, shit, all right.
Katt says Hart's rise wasn't just talent and timing. According to him, every major Kevin Hart move, from Ride Along to Night School, passed through Diddy's circle first. Check the credits and the partnerships. Bad Boy's venture arm pops up everywhere. Sometimes on the soundtrack, sometimes in quiet executive producer slots.
Related to Luda? No, so we were both invited to an Illuminati. Get it? I'm not mad about it.
How much money they give? 200?
Sir, Fast and Furious is on what number right
10.
now?
Did you start to worry any about your own safety and stuff?
Well, what it was that I was attempting to do was impossible. So before I do this interview, there is no Illuminati. It's just a joke. It's just something that crazy people talk about. There's no such thing as our side and God's side. None of that is even real. I gotta come and make it real. So that's why when I said that, nobody came out and went, that's not true. I'm on God's side. If part of the ritual is wearing a dress, then we should be able to look through entertainment and see all of these people being made to wear a dress.
Yeah, you don't see the dog catcher show up every other year.
Like, it's not a thing.
In a nice skirt, or you don't see an electrician.
Right. So
come up in a blouse every now.
Sometimes through distribution deals that just happen to back Hart's stand-up specials. Those patterns aren't coincidences. They paint a roadmap, one that shows Kevin Hart's climb to superstardom ran parallel to Diddy's empire, not separate from it. And what was exchanged behind the scenes? Only Katt claims to know.
New revelations show that after Don Richard filed her lawsuit against Diddy, he allegedly bombarded his former bandmate Kalena Harper with over 50 calls in one day and reached out a total of 128 times over 4 days. Prosecutors say that these calls were attempts to sway her testimony, part of a broader pattern of trying to gaslight and manipulate witnesses. Can you blame Kalena for distancing herself from the situation? She came under fire for posting that Richard's claims did not align with her experience, and some people criticized her for what it seemed like defending Diddy. Given the pressure, it is understandable that she would want to clarify her stance, especially with Diddy reportedly trying to reach out so persistently. Apologize to this woman she's a victim to.
Then there's Ludacris, the name that made Katt go full conspiracy mode. Katt joked about Illuminati influence, saying only an organization with real power could hand Ludacris that $200 million Fast and Furious level deal. And sure, it sounds like classic Katt Williams exaggeration, but look past the punchline. And the real pattern appears. Joint festival stages. Collaborations on each other's albums.
Hanson, would you please start a podcast? The community will freak out. Everyone knows you speak the truth. I do not enjoy listening to me talk. So if I did a podcast, it would have to okay, the answer is yes. Fine, I'll do the podcast and I'm working on it. All right, there you go, Tim.
Tribute performances for Biggie, where their chemistry looked like they'd been brothers for decades. Katt wraps it in secret society jokes, but you don't need pyramids or all-seeing eyes to see the truth. Luda and Diddy have been aligned for years, business aligned, brand aligned, industry aligned. But here's the real twist.
Justin Combs, you've been indicted with your dad. Now, ain't that something, God? Ain't that something how LeBron, right? And his son will be the first father-son to play a game in the NBA? And P. Diddy and his son will be the first father and son to get indicted and go to federal prison for messing with little boys. Ain't that about something? The apple don't fall too far from the tree, y'all, man. And I tell you all the time, man, you have to watch what you do around your kids because they're watching everything. And in his case, man, he watched what his dad did and his dad allowed him to do these things with him. But hey, man, he was named in that indictment yesterday with those 120 people. You dig what I'm saying? 25 of them being minors. But that's kind of crazy that a younger man would love a minor. But hey, man, I hope they was using condoms.
About 30 different law enforcement vehicles at least. There are 3 Bearcats on scene here. This just all unfolded, Sandra, I would say, less than 10 minutes ago. We got here even before the crime scene tape came up. So we're just down the hill. If you look up this street where Tony is right now to the right, you'll see one of those Bearcats and law enforcement. And on the other side of those bushes, basically, is that home that is registered to Bad Boy Films, which is part of
What does any of this, Kevin Hart, Ludacris, Tyler Perry, Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley, T.D. Jakes, have to do with Diddy's current legal meltdown? How does Katt keep dropping names that magically show up later in the paperwork? To understand that, we need to go back. Way back.
He said he turned down $50 million 4 times.
No, he didn't.
To protect his integrity and his virgin hole.
No, he didn't. He did that. He did that to say that Kevin Hart took $50 million to unvirgin his hole.
Can you explain a little bit?
No, I just told you what happened with that.
So you don't believe Katt? when he says that he turned down 50 million four
No,
times.
I believe that was a punch at what he did, what Kevin Hart did for that movie Get Hard. He showed y'all what he did. He sucked Will Ferrell's to get hard.
Oh.
Now he's high. Now he's acting all hard. Every picture he's just short. He wasn't ready. All that. It's the same thing.
Because this web of alliances didn't start with comedy jokes. It started long before the cameras were rolling, when the industry was still pretending none of this existed.
Said it, and this sums it up well. Like you don't entertain the circus, you watch it, right? And when a lion comes out and rides the bike, you don't think about it too hard. You just go, okay, that's crazy. The lion's riding a bike, and then you go home and enjoy the rest of your day. I don't feed into the stuff at all. At the end of the day, it's all entertainment to a certain degree. So you just hope that people can be smart enough and have a tremendous amount of logic to just go and possibly do research or fact check. And if they do, then great. If they don't, then kudos to that as well. I just don't have the time for it. There's too much going on.
In my opinion, one of the ones that affects me the most is Justin Bieber.
Do you have the Kevin Hart one?
Which is odd, Pat, because he gets caught saying that he would wake up next to him and then he changes it and says we would fight off over the Frosted Flakes. Even Kevin Hart is uncomfortable because you're admitting that you were sleeping next to a freaking child. And it's like, I'm tired of hearing all these stories and people just laugh about it. We giggle. Like, this is it right here.
That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, pause.
Look,
like,
pause.
I mean, back in the days when he was like 10 and I was
10 years
a little
old.
bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted
He'd wake up
Flakes.
to
because
Usher.
He used to always get up early. Now he's one of the richest songs in the world. And
What the fuck did Puff just say? Nobody's gonna acknowledge this with me. Puff just said we used to wrestle over the Frosted Flakes, and we're streaming live. That was stupid.
Federal agents raided Sean Diddy Combs' homes in Los Angeles and Miami, seizing electronics, hard drives, and stacks of documents in an explosive trafficking investigation. Then September hit, and the grand jury indictment dropped. Racketeering, sex trafficking, prostitution transport.
Jam 25. It's good to see so many funny people together in one room, all wondering the same thing. Is Katt Williams gonna show up? Shit, I'm nervous as hell right now. Yeah. Oh, he's right there. There he is. I didn't know he was right there. Nigga, I would not have said that if I had seen him. Yeah. I'm not used to quiet, introspective Katt Williams.
No.
Well, let me ask you this. When have you ever seen this many heavy hitters all together at the same time? Yeah. In the same room. Yeah.
Right.
A full-scale criminal empire case. But December? December changed everything. A court filing so shocking it froze even the toughest reporters. Buried in those pages was a name no one expected to see. Sean Carter.
Jen is with me now to talk about another story making headlines today.
Yeah, so this one is actually sparked by these pictures. That's 49-year-old P. Diddy with his hand on his girlfriend's belly. Now that is 22-year-old Lori Harvey. They're in Cabo. She's, of course, talk show host Steve Harvey's stepdaughter. People are talking about maybe she could be pregnant. You know, he's rubbing her belly a little bit, but...
She's put up some Instagrams, I think, that show some clues. Sushi, right? Sushi, a bad thing for pregnancy.
It could go either way. But then also she posted this picture of green juice, which, you know, why would you want a flatter tummy if you really can't avoid it because you're carrying a child?
Ooh, this is conflicting evidence. Okay. Lori was once actually linked to Diddy's son, Justin.
Okay.
Okay, so they were together and then engaged a couple years ago to a Dutch soccer player. She told Carissa Thompson about how he popped the question.
We were in Malibu. I remember the
Were you
time. It was
freaking out?
11:30. I thought it was a joke, and then he went in his pocket, and I just started shaking.
They split up later on that year. Lori and Sean were actually spotted with her dad, Steve, on a boat in Italy earlier on this summer.
That's all. Well, then that's it. He's given the blessing. They're together.
Jay-Z. According to the document, Jay-Z and Diddy were accused of drugging and assaulting a 13-year-old girl after the 2000 MTV VMAs. A claim so horrifying, the internet could barely process it.
So yeah, TD Jakes.
is on that list.
On that list.
And, you know, Katt Williams, I don't know if he's a Christian or not. I don't think he is. His mouth would say maybe he's maybe has faith, but he's bearing fruits of repentance. But that podcast got well over millions and millions of views because he just blasted the industry. And basically the whole thing is your career's here. If we give you money and you join in on this debauchery, you join in on this sodomy, you join in on this pedophilia, you join in on these rituals, your career will go from here to here. And that's actually been seen if you look at a lot of different careers, including Taylor Swift's. She actually started rubbing shoulders with P. Diddy a long time ago, and then all of a sudden her career changed.
And it didn't stop there. Diddy's own son, Justin Combs, was accused of organizing freak-off parties involving underage girls. The allegations were so serious that federal agents handcuffed him during the raid, although he later faced no formal charges. Then came the witnesses. Former Bad Boy singer Colina Harper appeared in filings as a witness to violence against Cassie Ventura.
Now, we also know that T.D. Jakes is allegedly also a power bottom. And he's a much older man. And they say he's very enthusiastic in his endeavors. What happens when he pops something loose? You know what I'm saying?
It's funny because they're mentioning sex workers, but they're not mentioning women. They're mentioning men as sex workers.
Yeah.
Like is that a thing where like there's a website? I mean, what? It's just wild to hear like you mentioned the
You've never heard of Grindr?
I personally have not. That is what.
Why don't nobody ever talk about the fact that TD Cakes has an account allegedly on Grindr?
But the shockwave got even bigger because heavyweights like Jimmy Iovine, Interscope co-founder, and Lucian Grange, Universal Music CEO, were briefly named for allegedly witnessing or influencing testimony. Grange has since been removed from the case, but the damage was already done. When Katt Williams sat down and rattled off a list of celebrities tied to Diddy, the internet thought he was ranting. But now, the names he blurted out match the names in the court filings almost 1-to-1. Coincidence? Not in Puff Daddy's world. These aren't Reddit rumors. These aren't TikTok theories. These accusations are coming straight from court filings, federal indictments, sworn statements. And as these cases move toward trial in May 2025, more names could fall, more secrets could surface, and Hollywood is terrified. This isn't comedy anymore. This is evidence meeting entertainment. And Hollywood is sweating. If you're as shocked by these names as we are, hit that like button. Drop your questions in the comments. Who surprised you the most? Who do you think is going to fight back? And who's staying quiet for a reason? We want to hear your theories. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell, because the next chapter in this story is already forming, and you're not going to want to miss what comes out next. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.